Hello there and welcome to another Gamer Tech review. Now in this review we are going to be taking a look at the CMStorm TRIGGER fully mechanical backlit gaming keyboard. How is that? Now this thing has so many features. It has got more features than a Swiss Army knife. Seriously, this thing is fully packed and loaded. But I know what you're thinking. I'm a bit overdressed. So don't worry, we're going to get that sorted out right now. Too much! There we go, perfect. Right, so now looking at the box, you can see that there is lots and lots of features on here. We have got highest grade gold-plated cherry switches, 64 kilobytes of macro and keyboard profile memory, which we'll get into that a little bit later on. 5 fully programmable macro keys in there. It is fully LED backlit, and oh, it is pretty. Now there is also a whole load of extra features on the back, as we can see here. It has got 2 USB ports on there, and it is powered port, so you can get a little 5-volt jobby converter thing on there, so it's all powered all the time, which is awesome. It is powered by USB. Its data and connection goes through a USB cable here, which is fully detachable, and again I'll show you that a little bit later on. It has anti-ghosting on there, which is always important. You can enable and disable the Windows key, and that kind of comes into the macros thing a bit later on, so I shall let you know about that. The cable is braided and it is lovely. It is a full-size gaming keyboard, which is wicked. I do like my full-size gaming keyboards, and it is a 1 megahertz response rate on there, so in regards to pooling and getting the information to your PC, so you know there won't be delay, it is 1000 hertz on there, or 1 megahertz. So without further ado, let's just get the keyboard out of the box, eh? And here it is, and isn't it lovely? Oh yes, it's beautiful, Chris. Thank you, Churchill. It is beautiful, isn't it? So as you can see, it is a full-size gaming keyboard here. You've got your trigger key there, and your trigger key there, and you use those things for your macros and your Windows keys and all that jazz. You have got your full number pad over here, all your arrows, and you've also got up here your media buttons, which is very important. So we've got play, stop, previous, next, mute, down, and up for your volume, and all of those are controlled through using your trigger key down here, your Storm trigger key there. You have got also macro on the fly you can do, and using the Alt keys here, and that all goes through the software, so we shall talk about that a bit later on as well. It is also got up here your illumination button settings. So you've got this turns your lights on and off, this dims them, this makes them brighter, and then there's 3 modes that the keyboard has, so you press that and it goes through the modes. So have a little look at the modes now. Now I must admit, I did fall in love with this keyboard. It's lovely. Like I really love full-size keyboards. I do prefer them over having the short ones down where the numpad is combined into there. It's cherry black mechanical switches, so you get that lovely keyboard sound there. Like this is a lovely keyboard. It just sounds so good because all the key strokes are definite. They bounce back up right into your fingers. It's like, it's just wonderful. If you haven't used a mechanical keyboard, you definitely are missing out. You need to check out this keyboard or another mechanical keyboard, because mechanical keyboards in general are awesome, but this one it's really nice. The wrist rest is detachable as well, so if you want to take it off, then don't worry. All you need to do is kind of like clip it off. I'm going to do it very carefully. There we are. So that's the wrist rest there. And that's what the keyboard looks like without the wrist rest. So pretty much the same as before, but now it doesn't have a wrist rest. So yeah, fantastic. This one is backlit in red and looks really nice. So I like that. I like the red backlit-ness. And also the fact that you can kind of dim the lights on there and make them brighter as well is really quite handy, because if you're in a really dark room, then you don't really want to have them really bright, because then it just messes with your eyes. So the fact that you can have them quite dim in that kind of environment is awesome. And again, when you're using it during the day with your windows open and your curtains open and stuff, you can either have them not as bright or off. I personally like to keep them on all the time, just not fully bright in that point in time, just kind of keep them all on like the low dim setting on there, and yeah, I seem to get on with it quite well. Now when I first started using the keyboard, the thing that I kind of noticed the most is the way the keys are set out on each other. With the keyboard that I was using previously, it wasn't quite a steep gradient between the heights of the keys, whereas with this one, because it's also mechanical as well, I found that when I was playing Call of Duty and I wanted to go like walk straight left and then lean left as well, I used to be able to just like bump my finger up up on my previous key, whereas with this one, I can't really do that now, so it means that I've just got to kind of angle my fingers differently. So there's no problem in that, like it's not a hindrance, but it just means it's something that you've got to get used to, which is absolutely fine. Like, it was probably the first couple of days I had that issue, and then after that I was just using it like normal, and it's really, really nice. With this keyboard as well, you can do on-the-fly macros with it, along with you can go through the software and set up all your macros on there too. I kind of blasted ahead and didn't really read the instructions with the software, so at the start it took me a while just to kind of get to grips with it, but as soon as I knew and understood what I was doing, because I took the time to actually go, right, so I read this, and then that does that, and that does that, and then it kind of made sense to me. So if you do get the keyboard, then please do read instructions first on how to macro and do things, yeah? Just because if you blast straight ahead, it's not just like it's click and click and click. You've got to, like, it's smart and it's clever software, so you've got to, like, just make sure you know what you're doing before you do it, okay? Otherwise you'll be sat there going, why isn't it working? And then you'll realise that because you didn't click that and then click OK, that's the reason why it didn't work, okay? So just make sure that you go through the software properly. Here's a couple of shots of the software for you. Now, it is quite nice, as you can see. It does look very, very professional. And one of the things the keyboard does as well is every time you turn your PC on, it checks for new macros, and every time you connect the keyboard to the PC. So if you have taken the keyboard out and used it on someone else's computer, remember, because it has got its onboard memory, any macros you set to the keyboard will work on other people's computers as well. So if you play WoW or a game where you want to have macros set up to different keys and things, and you want to go to LAN or something, but you don't want to take your own machine with you playing someone else's computer, then all your macros will be saved to this, so you don't have to worry about re-macroing it or not being able to use those. So that is very, very handy to do with this thing. Now, build-wise, it does feel very, very solid. It does feel that if I was to drop it, that it would just kind of bounce and rock on the floor and it wouldn't actually break. I'm not going to drop it because that would just be a bit silly. Around the edges, it does have a hard, like, it's a really quite a dense rubber feeling plastic on there, so it does feel like as if I was going to drop it, then it would be absolutely fine. Again, I'm not actually going to drop it, but it just has that feeling to it. You have got little standy things on the back which are rubber footed, and I must admit, with this keyboard is the most sturdiest non-moving keyboard I've ever used in my life. Like, you put it on your desk, and all keyboards have the rubber feet on the bottom and they're not supposed to move around, but when I use this keyboard, it ain't going nowhere. Like, it feels like it's screwed to the table. It's amazing. Like, it's absolute. It just doesn't move at all. It's fantastic. It just doesn't move. Like, I've had other keyboards in the past where you put them on the table and kind of, you can, while you're playing the game, you can kind of like angle it and stuff to make it, like, to change just where it is for now. But if you're in a game and you really want to, like, push it to move it to another angle, you have to, like, kind of really force it. Like, it's not a bad thing. It's just like, it just proves how stuck down to the table it is, which is good because it's nothing worse than playing a game, you're getting all involved and your keyboard's moving around the desk. That's rubbish. You don't want that to happen at all. But this just sticks there, it doesn't move, and it is the most solidest sticking down to a keyboardist keyboard that I've ever used in my life. And here's the braided cable. You knew we were going to get it to it at some point. So as you can see, it is beautiful cable. I do love braided cabling so much. And it's like, it's a quite heavy, quite a thick cable, which is quite nice. I'd say it's probably about 5 to 6 millimeters thick. It is a fully plated end on the USB there, so to help with you polling rates and stuff, you won't get any latency on that one. No, it's fantastic. Like, it's very, very durable, very hard wearing, and when you put it in, there's no like wobbly connections or anything. It's in there. It's not going anywhere, and it just feels extremely rugged. And there's the USB ports for you, like a proper little close-up for you there. So that's where USB goes into the PC, and then there's your 2 USB ports, and there's your 5-volt power jobby, which you can get the plug it in there, and then these will always be powered, so you can charge things from it all the time. Isn't that wonderful? And there we have it. So it is a beautiful piece of kit. Like, it looks gorgeous, especially when it's got the red LEDs behind it, as you saw earlier. It just looks great. It feels great to use, like just under your fingers, and it doesn't move anywhere. The cable is lovely. It's got USB ports. It's got media keys. The LEDs you control. You can macro on the fly. You can macro using the software. You've got your own macro keys at the side there. So if you run out of keys, you've got macro keys there you can use. It's got different profile modes. It's just It's got everything, really. Like, it really is a Swiss Army knife of a keyboard. It's just got absolutely everything. I'd like to make a big thank you to Cooler Master for sending me the Trigger keyboard. Thank you very much. It has been very, very welcomed in this household here. So thank you I can't stress enough. Thank you very much for your support, and I shall see you guys in another one. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share the video. Watch some more videos. There'll be more links at the end of this one, and I shall see you, as I've already said, in another one. Sod him. Ah! It's me! It's the child! Oh God.